Rural Heritage on RFD TV is brought to you by Rural Heritage Magazine, a bi-monthly magazine featuring articles about farming and logging with draft animal power, small-scale diversified family farming and homesteading, and other aspects of our rich rural heritage. Rural Heritage Magazine, borrowing from yesterday to do the work of today. For subscription information, please call 319-362-3027 or order online at www.ruralheritage.com. Hi, I'm Joe Mishka. Welcome to another episode of Rural Heritage TV. Do you know what this is? It's a single-string fretted musical instrument called a canjo. This one was carefully made by Henry and Alice Hoover of White Pine, Tennessee. The can, which resonates the tone, is actually a spam can. The Hoovers use a spam can because of its shape, insulated lining, and sturdy rim. They buy spam in bulk, take out the meat, and donate it to a local food pantry and build canjos in their backyard shop.
So we made and sold willow furniture, and we had a car hauler trailer, a great big one, and our pieces were rather large. And so we would travel high in festivals and sell that, and we did fairly well. We would have, where we lived, we had a lot of cowboys move in, and they wanted that for their little cabin, and so we had a pretty good little business for two people. And then we had 2008 happen, and you cannot ship willow furniture. I would go to these shows and they would say, well, can you ship that? And that pretty soon I realized that we're going to have to change what we made if we wanted to keep doing this. So we then were thinking about what can we do. We were just mostly servicing the cowboys in the local area. So I went to a little local festival.
Sorry, when you said 2008 happened, what does that mean?
Oh, that's the when the economy took a backslide.
All right, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah, it's when
sorry for the interruption.
Oh, no problem. Okay, so in my little community, there is a English settlement. And so they had a little festival, and I just went over to do something different. It was like 30 minutes from my home. And I heard, as I got into the parking lot, I heard ding, 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 ding. And I thought, what is that? And so I went immediately to that guy's booth, and he was playing a canjo. And I could not believe it, and I just could not believe it. It was one string, and I bought one immediately, and I could immediately play it. And he also sold dulcimers, which I didn't play a dulcimer at that time, but since then I have learned. And so that was the beginning of it. I brought it home, and I said, Henry, can we start making these? And he said, why, yes, we'll try. And that was a project in itself. But I feel like it's all been a blessing from the Lord, because we have come to these hurdles, and we have jumped these hurdles, and He has just led us all the way. And it's a way that we can help our children a little bit. We can travel just a little bit. And it's fun.
And you guys must get along, the two of you.
No.
I mean, my wife and I work together.
Yeah.
And occasionally, I think she looks forward to me going on some of these trips. It gives her a chance for a break. But I miss her dearly when I'm on the road. But you do have to get along.
Yes, we get along.
Yeah.
He's my huckleberry, so.
Okay, all right.
He's my sweetheart, so.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Did you have a musical background?
I do not. I just grew up in a community where everybody played something, being
Sure.
from Tennessee.
Right.
And I did take piano lessons, but I wanted to quit because I heard it one way in my head, and the teacher was making me play it another. So my mother, after 4 years, said, okay, you can quit. So, but I play banjo and guitar and dulcimer and bow dulcimer and a few things like that. If it's got a string on it, sometimes I can get a tune out of it.
Was there a period where you were making both the willow furniture and the canjos for a while?
Yeah, we were kind of fading it out.
Yeah.
You know, we had lots of pieces we needed to move, and we would just take both with us, which resulted in us meeting a wonderful guy who sells a lot of our product at the National Cornbread Festival in West Pittsburgh near Chattanooga. So we went down with a wheel of furniture, but we sold, I don't know, I guess 100 canjos that one festival, and we won best of show one time and third best of show one time. And then he had a heart attack, and we thought we might need to cut back some on that. So, but yeah, we traveled quite a bit there. It was a lot of fun. Met a lot of people, and people are fascinated with it.
Sure.
But you have to be able to know how to play or have a little instructions. That's why I give this little handout to you. But I won't let you leave my booth until you know how to play, because I don't want you wasting your money. So that's the teacher in me. You're going to know how to play.
Sure, sure.
So
when you got how is the best of show judged? Is it on cosmetics? Is it on the sound?
it's
is it on
presentation. It's a lot of things. A lot of
Okay.
things. How unique is it? How you're set up? Are you engaged with the public that stops at your booth?
Okay.
And
This is at the Cornbread Festival?
National Cornbread
Cornbread.
Festival. It's really big down near Chattanooga.
Okay. You've seen our America's Rule Yesterday 3-book set covering life on the farm in the early 1900s. We're excited to bring you a 4th edition to the series, Early Tractors, featuring more than 250 photos of early American tractors like Alice Chalmers, Oliver, John Deere, Farmall, Minneapolis Moline, and lots more. Most of the photos are of new or almost new tractors back in the day, showing exactly how they were configured when they came out of the factory. Tractor collectors, history buffs, and folks simply wanting to reminisce about farm life in America's Rural Yesterday will love to have this book. It sells for $24.95 plus shipping. If you buy more than one book in the series, the price per book goes down all the way to $69.95 for all 4 books. To order, call toll-free 877-647-2452 or visit www.mishka.com. That's 1-877-647-2452.
I made my living with a wood miser sawmill for about 5 years. And I sawed 1,000,000 feet in 5 years. Now that's not a lot for a big company, but that's a lot for a little wood miser sawmill.
Yeah.
But we had access to lumber from what I sawed. So I made from scratch the first ones. But whenever this began to grow, we couldn't keep up.
Right.
Plus, I sold my sawmill to a guy that came here after they'd had a hurricane in Mississippi, and he had a lot of money. I never seen one like it. And he said, "I'll buy your mill if you'll sell it." And I said, "Well, here's what I have to have for it." And he just counted out money and bought it right there on the spot. So anyway, I hated it afterwards because I really enjoyed sawing lumber with that. You know, you take a log from a tree or even cut the tree down yourself and make that into something usable. You know, that is really a joy.
Is the miser a bandsaw?
Yes, bandsaw mill.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a portable mill?
Yes.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually building one now.
So I'm building my own mill now. After I sold this and where we moved, the house where she lived, she owned some land there, and we bought an additional 5 acres, I think, there, and it was covered up in good timber.
Yeah.
And she told me I could cut whatever I wanted, you know. Well, I had in mind building me a fine barn for my horses and all this, you know, and I never did cut a stick because we got into this then, and that all changed, you know. So.
And then the grandchildren started coming, but we get our wood from a gentleman
he has a wood
Yeah.
miser sawmill.
Okay.
and he lives in our old community. And this would be scrap. He would heat his shop with this wood right here. So again, we're recycling because that's important. So this would have been burned. And these are wonderful examples of different sorts of hardwood. Hardwood is what you have to have if you're going to get good sound with your instrument. So this is ambrosia maple, which is created by a worm. It's right now a real popular furniture wood.
That color streaks in there comes from that ambrosia moth.
Okay.
that actually is not native to Tennessee, but it is in our timber somewhat here.
I
It's
see.
usually found a lot farther
And
south.
of course, we have black willow. No,
Walnut?
walnut,
Yeah, yeah.
excuse me.
No,
We do
that's
not
fine.
use willow, it's too soft.
Right.
But we have walnut and
Sure.
cherry and oak. And the most wonderful thing that you can have is live oak from Georgia or Florida. That's the hardest, and oh, the sound is wonderful. But we just can't get that except every once in a while. And even the trimmings here, these are little leather from a harness shop, which would be just culled,
Scrap.
of
Sure.
course.
Right, right.
So
Right.
we use that, and I stuff the cans with grocery bags when I have them, and right
Right.
now I've run out. So, you know, it's all just recycle
The
as
only
much as
thing that is
possible.
not recycled is our tuners, and that is a Grover tuner, and the Grover company warranties that for life. And the string is new, and the frets are new.
frets.
So those
Frets
three
are all
things
legit.
are the only thing that's not recycled.
Did you have a musical background?
No.
Okay. All right. Do you play the canjo?
Yes,
And so do you, obviously, Alice, right?
Yeah,
I learned.
Wanna-
She helped me learn. You know.
Wanna hear a tune?
I will, but not just
Okay.
yet.
Okay.
That's an electric canjo.
You'll
huh?
have an electric canjo,
I'll be
yes.
darned. I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
The canjo that you first saw, that was the impetus or was the germ of a seed to get you to
Yes.
start making them.
She has it in
Yeah,
the
it's
house.
in the
She-
house,
yeah.
it's on the
Okay.
She
table.
has it in the house.
That wasn't a spam can, probably.
Yes,
Yes,
it was.
it was.
Spam
It
can.
was a
Okay.
spam can. I don't know where the gentleman got his cans, but he did not have this rim of protection, this
Oh,
sturdy rim
so
around
it
his.
was-
It must have been a cold can,
Okay.
and so it would break down easy. In fact,
Right.
mine is kind of beat up after all these years.
It would bend because you kind of put your hand there.
Yeah.
Yes,
you
you
rest
have
on
to.
that a little
Yeah,
bit.
you have to. Yeah,
Right.
you're
You'll
putting
bend
your
it.
wrist right here to hold it up so that this hand is free.
Right.
So yeah, you have to put pressure there.
Right. If you enjoy seeing how our ancestors lived during America's rule yesterday, you're going to love looking at these books. Volume 1 is fieldwork showing horses and vintage tractors preparing seed beds, planting, cultivating, and harvesting the crop. Volume 2 shows the work being done in the barn and farmyard, feeding and watering the livestock, getting the crop into the barn, milking the cows, shearing the sheep, and collecting the eggs. In Volume 3, we go inside the home to see the family in the kitchen canning vegetables, in the parlor listening to the radio, and in the dining room for family supper. We also head into town to shop at the general store or visit on the town square on Saturday night. Each book has over 140 large format pages. They sell for $24.95 each, or you can buy 2 for $44.95, or all 3 for $54.95 plus shipping. Call 1-877-647-2452 to order. That's 1-877-647-2452.
We had for years had been trying to get in touch with this Hormel
Yeah.
in Austin, Minnesota.
Right.
And one of our customers actually went to their gift shop and
The
toured it
museum.
and said, "Hey, do you know about Henry Hoover? We bought a canjo from him, and they use your spam can. You need to get in touch with him." And there we had been writing and calling and just couldn't get to the right person. But the lady at the sales rep, I suppose, at the gift shop, she contacted us when we were in Montana. Can you swing by here for a little interview? And we were tickled to death to swing by there. We started out just swapping getting clean cans from them and trading it for canjos.
Okay.
And then we didn't need so many cans all of a sudden, and so we just let them buy them. And then we'd go back to when we needed them to getting the cans from them. Yeah, they sell them on their website too,
Okay. All right.
and we keep them. They ordered 24 last time. The reason we picked this can is the sound. This liner right here
Okay.
is just
It's
creates
Teflon. It's
a
Teflon
really
lined.
good sound. You can we tried them out of everything. We would not do them with beer because we're Christians and we don't want to promote anything we shouldn't.
Sure.
But this lining is just really key.
It's a beautiful tone.
Yeah,
really
it is. It's fun.
Yeah, it's a beautiful tone. And you make a point you make that point on your website that It's not just a novelty choice or some other reason. You picked the Spam can because of the sound that it made.
Right.
And that's the resonator, right? Is that what
That's the
called?
resonator.
And it's much more durable than the round drink cans and so on like that.
Yeah, they're very hard to hold, aren't they, honey? They want to roll in your arm.
How many Canjos do you think you've made?
We're approaching 8,000.
No kidding.
Yes.
When we had gone to close to the first 1,000, I looked one day and she had the same number on one that had already went through, and I called that to her attention. She said, "We're just going to have to quit putting the serial numbers on them, because you couldn't keep up with it. It was just so much stuff, to keep up with." But
And my son bought us one of these heated stamps, that we could stamp the back.
Right.
And so we would go to these festivals and they would say, "I want you to sign my Canjo. I don't want you to stamp it. I want my Canjo signed by Henry Hoover." So we laid that aside, and now we sign every one.
and this is the Spam can. They've got 20 different flavors now.
Uh-huh.
But the other things, people look at that and they don't want that. They want this original Spam can.
Right.
And what was unique for us, and it was great, when we were making that trip to Montana, and we came back through there to the Hormel company, we go in the front door, and there's a pig's nose on the front door.
Yeah.
You push that, and that opened up. Well, we
Right.
walk in there, and it's a roof like this. It's a gable roof way up on the end, and from the top of the doors all the way to the top, it was covered with Spam cans,
Right.
with the label facing out. And I said, "Gosh, that must have took a lot of cans." And he said, or she said, "How many would you guess?" And I said, "Oh gosh, there must be 1,000 or more there." This was so unique. She said there's 3,330. And the day we left for that trip, that's how many Canjos we had made at that point,
I'll be darned.
to that point. So
Wow.
we considered that an omen,
Right. Right. Yeah. It's a
So,
signal. Right. How did you pick the songs that you picked?
Tried to get simple folk songs and basic traditional songs that school
Now, every
children
Canjo
know.
comes with the booklet
Yes.
that has some songs in it.
Uh-huh.
And then they can also purchase
You
the song
can.
book.
But I usually will just stick one of these in anyway because now, and I have a smaller book that I would like to just donate. I need to move these along because I now have these bigger books, so
Sure.
I'll do that sometimes.
Yep.
But everything's done by number.
Yeah.
And you even have these cute little endings if you want to have some flair, alternate endings.
Okay.
Shave and a haircut, 2 bits.
That's great. I didn't see that before.
You
That's
know?
terrific.
So we have some Christmas songs and folk songs.
And the numbers make it awfully easy.
Yes.
A person doesn't need to be able to read music. They don't need to have to read music. They don't
Correct.
have to know time
No.
because they're just
Correct.
the numbers.
Yeah.
The spacing kind of gives you a feel for the
Time.
yeah,
It
but
does.
but otherwise it's just your memory of these
How-
universal songs.
Having heard it.
And you
Certainly.
know, 11 or 12 notes isn't a lot, and pretty soon you've got that down pat,
Yeah.
especially if you have an ear for it. One time we did a presentation and sold to a church school near our community, And she was, the music teacher wanted everything done correctly and use the right notes. So we went the extra step of putting each note on here.
The letter.
Yes,
Yeah.
by the letter, so they would know,
Which
you know,
note they're playing.
and that pleased her a lot. She was really glad we did that.
Yeah.
So, and one other time we did a Christian school, and we did a presentation on what folk instruments are and the value of them and how they've changed through the time, and sold every child there a canjo and taught every child how to use it before we left.
Wow.
But that was back when we were younger. We're still working on this. We hope that we live long enough to try to get our Tennessee
I didn't know
music
you had
box.
that in.
So it's
That's
a
what I wanted to say.
multi-string, and then
Yeah,
the whole box
it's
is
a
the
Tennessee
resonator.
music box,
Yeah.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, now this is, the wood is too thick, see?
I
It don't
see.
resonate like it would if this wood was thinner.
Okay.
And,
if we ever have
this
time,
is
we'll
made
get back
on
to
the idea of the Tennessee music box, which was, they would take a log and hew out a board that would be way over an inch thick, and they would hollow it out, and then they would hew another thin piece to go over the top of it. Then they'd put that snuff can over each end of it.
And these would be missing, or it would be nails, or it would be carved pieces of wood, or carved pieces of bone.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's just amazing.
They did all kinds of things. So we've not give up on that yet, but we
We hope to live long enough.
may work on it some more sometime. Here's one we did that it's got all the wood's thin on it,
Sure. Yep.
and but what they did is hollow out the back of this stick right here too, to help
Amplify.
okay.
amplify
Yeah.
the sound. I designed that and built it myself with the help of my neighbor who was a good welder.
That's very nice. It's a little bit like the Lynn Miller design with the,
The third wheel.
yes sir.
Yeah.
But that's very nice. I bet
Yeah.
it turns nice.
It was
It's a tight
really
turn.
nice machine. This wheel right here is for your winch rope to go over when you're going to pick up a log
Okay. All right.
to drag it
Yeah.
and keep it from dragging in the
Sure.
mud so much, you know. And this was here where you'd stand up a lot when you're doing this kind of driving, you know, and that gives you something to hold on to. For you can get thrown off awful easy if you ain't got nothing but the lines in your hands, you know.
And so it'd be a two-seater.
I had 2 seats on there, and I
Yes,
had a young team run away with me, and broke one of them off, and I don't know how the other one got broke off later.
Moving
But
over
Allison and
And you just pop out these pins and you can trade out this ball hitch for a pole.
well, yeah, and I carried it right here, laid back in there on top of that wheel.
Yep.
That's how you carried
Sure.
that extra pole,
Sure.
and the hitch would just hang right there on the front of you. You
And
know.
this is all recycled material too.
Every bit of it except
Yes,
the
sir.
tires. It's got 3 brand new tires on it.
Okay.
And they were, everything was come out of a junkyard. I mean, the
Right,
actual junk
right.
pile.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's
Yeah.
really well designed. That's very nice.
And I had it painted even nice at one time.
Green. Kind of a John Deere green.
Yeah, that's what we picked.
This program is available for purchase. To order your copy, please call 319-362-3027 or visit www.ruralheritage.com. Rural Heritage is a bi-monthly magazine dedicated to draft animal farming and logging, as well as other aspects of our rich rural heritage. It is published by Mishka Press, which also offers a complete line of Back to the Land books, DVDs, and calendars. Call or write for a catalog or subscription information, or visit our website at www.ruralheritage.com.